They caught my client coming out of a restaurant at 11 o'clock at night with 2 empty gas cans in his possession and a fire roaring behind him. They arrested this guy, George Rossi. I tried the case, beat the prosecution heads on. The place in question was controlled by a guy named Carmine Tremonti, head of the Lucchese crime family. Mr. Gribbs.
Why Mr. Gribbs?
Because when he was a kid, when he got beaten up sometimes, he said, "Oh man, it's my Gribbs," meaning his ribs. Verdict came in on a Friday night at 10 o'clock. The whole staff was waiting for me because it was a very exciting, hot case. No pun intended. Arson hot. When I got back to my office, there was a phone call that I should meet him at the Premier East, one of the clubs. There was Carmine and a couple of other guys. Hey, great win, Murray, great win. Band that was on the bar, you know? Started playing the theme from The Godfather, and it's like a sea parted, and we walked in. Very heady feeling, very heady feeling. That was a big win. The word spread throughout the community. Here I'm with a boss of one of the crime families. Shit, I'm hot. I'm the hottest thing around.
Do you believe he set the restaurant on fire?
Probably. What's the problem? I'm not there doing God's work. How many times do I have to tell you that? I'm doing man's work. If I were to wait for only innocent clients, you know how thin I'd be? I'd be the skinniest man in the block. He was leaving his premises not knowing there was a fire behind him. What's wrong with that?
And the gas cans?
Well, he had a problem with his car and he needed gas for his car.
Why were you so excited about having a godfather as a client?
Business. What could be better than business? If you're going to do criminal law, what do you want to work in the streets all your life? It's like you're dealing with General Motors now. What a contract. I like the action. I want to be there. I want to be where it's happening. The Westchester Premier Theater. People would come and buy tickets and make a big fortune for everybody. The mob was looking for the golden opportunity. A certain amount of tickets was skimmed off the top, especially during the Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. concerts. Eventually, Time Warner bought Westchester Premier Theater. They indicted the wise guys, and they indicted the people from Time Warner. Together. Put them in one case. I had a guy named Murad Necessian, Mikey Coco, Mike the Arab. Real tough guy. We had 13, 14 people on trial. And they came in their suits and shirts and ties, and these were legitimate guys. Even the gangsters looked legitimate. What could I do differently? This is terrible. I can't go to trial this way. I'm going to get lost in the shuffle. Mike, I want you to wear a loud flannel shirt and a pair of overalls. Mike listened. He'd come to court every day. Everybody would look at him and say, "Mike, come on, you're making us look bad." Mike said, "Murray says I do this, that's what I do." And he would get himself comfortable and go to sleep. Right in the courtroom, sleep. The entire trial didn't ask a single question. My client slept quietly 9 weeks on trial. At the 6th week, I really was bored. I didn't know what to do with myself. My backside hurt from sitting. I ate enough candy to keep my mouth occupied. I read 2 books. Finally, there was a witness that came up, which had nothing at all to do with my client. And the judge said, "Mr. Richman, you have any questions?" I said, "Yes, Your Honor." Everybody stood up. I said, "Mr. Witness, do you know my client?" And almost on cue, one of the jurors said, "Counselor, can you speak up?" And I said, "I don't want to wake my client." They started to laugh. They started to laugh, and they didn't stop laughing. They broke for court, take a break, came back. My client was still standing. They looked at him. They started to laugh again. My client was the only one acquitted. All courtrooms are theaters. I've tried upwards of 97 murder cases, 400 jury trials. I live for the trial. I live for the jury. A trial is a choreography. You start at the beginning with a concept. You can almost orchestrate your very movements in front of the jury. Get concerned, for show calmness and self-assuredness to convince the jury that you're right. It's acting. It's good to know the law. It's good to know the facts. It's better to know the judge. There's a judge on the bench, very tough judge. She looks like Candace Bergen. My client emptied a Uzi at a cop. And I said, Judge, I can't try this case, Judge. She says, why not, Murray? I'm falling in love with you. I can't continue this work. I'm just in love with you. I cannot go forward. She says, are you really? I stepped back and said, how could you believe me when I said I love you when you know I've been a liar all my life? The jury thought it was hysterical. She thought it was great. My client went to jail. But it was a great story. Stories are my thing, my coin of the realm, so to say. I lived my life around criminals. 42 years in this business. I've met people who kill, who rob and steal and beat other people and take away things. I've never met a person and said, I'm evil. I don't think evil exists in and of itself. An evil perpetrator, he doesn't perceive himself as doing evil. He's just fulfilling his own need at that particular time. It's relative. I was in London with my wife. We were just walking through Petticoat Lane one day. Somebody snatched her wallet. I turned into the masked avenger. I jumped over a baby carriage, grabbed the guy, and knocked him to the floor. I was kicking the shit out of him. They grabbed me off this guy, and they said, why are you hitting him? She had her wallet back, and I realized that I was having a good time. Violence is part of life. That's why periodically our nations need war. Go out and kill a few people, and it makes everybody happy. You kill a couple of people, get a couple of our people killed, and then everybody stops and says, gee whiz, I feel so good. Peace is wonderful.
You tell the story about how many clients that you've lost over the years.
Killed? Yeah.
Well, about how many?
Got to be close to 50. You know, it's a bad way of losing business. Dominic Trinchera, Trini, he was blown away with a shotgun blast. Mike Salerno found him in the trunk of his car in a Jaguar with a bullet in his head. Jimmy Walker with an ice pick in his eye. Paddy Irish, shot to death while sitting in his car. Frankie Russo, with his eyes plucked out of his head. There's Philip J. and Philip D. Manfredi. Those two bodies turned up under the bridge. John Puccelli, shotgun blast. Lots and lots of people dying. Obviously business. Not unusual. I think anybody who's defended guys like this has lost a lot of clients. It's part of the business. They have wars between themselves. I have nothing to do with their demise.
Your clients?
They were. I had a guy named Charlie Off the Wall. Charlie Off the Wall is dead now, so I can talk about him. They also took him out, too. Stabbings, beating. I mean, he would beat anybody up within an inch of his life. He'd kick him and stomp him. I mean, sheer violence. Blind fury. This was a man who needed only a spark to set him off. He did not know anything other than violence.
Did he get him off?
Several times. It was a big narcotics case back in '72. We had a meeting over my house preparing for trial. Joey Lacosa, Joseph Manfredi Sr., the two Manfredi brothers, and a couple of other people. They left my house about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That night, at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 of the bodies turned up, Philip J. and Philip D. Obviously, it must have been contemplated while they were in my house.